All right, guys, we are back for another Gekishin Squadra video. So, the patch notes are technically out. Well, not out in game, but they've been revealed to a bunch of creators, and the dummy has compiled this into a just like a little presentation because he didn't, and he posted it on Twitter. So, just gonna use that and gonna thank him. I'll put the Twitter link, like the link to his Twitter post, in the description, as well as this drive link. But we're gonna look at the patch notes. I don't really know what to expect, but there's TOPPO and Hit on the thing, so maybe they'll get some buffs. We'll see. Super Saiyan Goku, he got a buff for some reason. Cooldown decreased by 1 second on his Kamehameha. Sure, why not? Damage distance fall off decreased. What fall off? Okay, maybe it takes less distance to do the same amount of damage? I don't really get this wording here. Because usually this would be like, oh, how far away from the explosion, the damage. But this is a sniper. Like it depends on it. Like you do the most damage when you actually hit the thing. The explosion doesn't really do that much. So maybe there's more damage from the explosion. Who knows? Krillin buff. Range of rush attack increase. Okay. Skill 1 can no longer be destroyed by energy attacks. That is huge. But also, how are you supposed to destroy them now? You can't counter them. You have to proc them, which means you have to react to them, which means you have to move into them and then leave. They buff the skill 2 shrink field of view as well. So the blind is only for about like a second, and then the shrink of field of view is like, I think 1.5 or 1.7 something seconds. It's a little bit longer. So that's interesting. This is huge. This is definitely something you have to play. Like you don't have to play the character to know how good this is, but I don't know if this will bring him back completely. Because the reason why that he was so good back then was not just because those mines like did a lot of damage and they were harder to break because there were less energy attacks, but also because Hit was really dominant. So unless Hit got something huge here, I don't know how much better he'll be compared to something like Kid Buu, who provides more value for his team overall with that Death Shred. But we'll see, we'll see. Dabura, his passive gets a massive range increase up to 1.4 meters at max. Wow. And Doom's Ray, his skill 1, gets a 2-second reduction in cooldown, even more health recovery, 200 to level 1. Yeah, 260 more HP at level 1, then 290 at level 2, and then 350 at level 3. Skill 2 and skill 3 changes. So I guess skill 3, instead of movement speed reduction, it becomes no vanishing. Oh my god. And the spear is now 30%. What? Okay, that in itself is not too clear. Give me a second. All right, so I just checked with my inside source, and apparently okay, this is a little misleading. It's the skill 3 that got changed to no vanishing step, not the spear. And for the spear, the effect got changed to movement speed reduction, similar to what it was for the skill 3, except now it's for 30% movement speed reduction for 2 seconds. The skill 3 is also 2 seconds of no vanishing step. But this feels more like a nerf to me. It's easier to hit the no vanishing step, but it's not necessarily better, because I think back then it was like, what, 4 seconds? Like 3 or 4 seconds of no vanishing step? That was pretty huge. TOPPO massive buff. Mark of Destruction remains when KO'd until timer expires, but the damage effect will end. So his DOT will stay even after he dies until the timer expires. But but what? But the damage effect will end. So it won't do damage, but the mark of destruction will stay? Hold on, let me pull up his passive. Alright, so what his passive does is it lets him get movement speed up and cooldown reduction with the rush attack, the more marks of destruction. But does this really matter if it stays until like because you're gonna die and by like mid game your respawn time is like 10 seconds and the timer for this mark of destruction is pretty long. Sorry, it's like not that long. The damage decrease as well. Like why? Skill 1, 2, and 3 mark of destruction duration increase. So it's like 5 seconds now. Okay. But again, you're gonna if you die, that's not gonna be a lot. Like if it's not doing damage, you're not gonna be able to make use of this if you die. You're not gonna be able to reduce your cooldowns. You're not even getting movement speed because you're dead. What's the point of this staying? Because it's on a timer anyway. It's on a 5 second timer. They're gonna lose all their stacks. Especially by the time you get to them. That's what I'm confused about. Skill 2, skill 2. Skill duration decrease. So you apply the same amount of stacks, but it lasts it doesn't last as long. So you're not stuck always facing back for 1.5 seconds. And the damage intervals between them, the ticks, is also reduced as well. So that's pretty good. And on his ulti, when enemies with Mark of Destruction are hit by the explosion, they don't lose their stacks. So you can apply a ton to the boss and then nuke them and still do a ton of damage, and it'll still be doing damage for that period of time. Okay. And you still get the cooldown reduction from his rush attacks. All right. Okay. That's not too bad. You can't reduce his ult cooldown, but that's not terrible. I'm just really concerned about like why they have his damage and then they do something that's pointless for his kit. Like what is this? Maybe this is something that's better in practice. I don't know. Kid Gohan, he gets more defense up, only to self, and his skill 3's AoE is increased by 1 meter at each level. So just 1 meter total then. So it just yeah. So he can apply energy defense up to his teammates better. Because that's what his skill 3 does. Let me pull it up. Yep. Energy defense up. They got rid of this part of his passive. They just haven't updated the website. Okay. Nurse. Bojack. Indicators during windup showing the explosion radius added. Okay. So it's easier to read it. And the damage is less by a little bit. It's whatever. His main damage wasn't his skill 1 anyway. And they got rid of skill 1 damage boost, so it doesn't matter too much. It's usually just there to proc skill 2. It's a decent finisher move, but oh. Kid Buu, skill 3. Attack AoE decrease level 2 and level 3 by half a meter and 1.5 meters. Alright. Movement speed down decrease. It used to be 20, 30, and 40. Now it's 10, 15, and 20. And duration of lingering movement speed down effect after leaving the AoE is now only 1 second instead of 1.5. Okay. This will make catching people a lot harder for Kid Buu. I mean, okay, this is not that crazy of a change. His ulti got another 20-second cooldown increase. This is very needed. And movement speed down duration decrease from 5 seconds to 1.5. Sure, why not? I mean, this felt negligible anyway because nobody was really trying to like place down parts to do that. But all right, God Goku nerf skill 3 additional damage decrease. So the burst gets decreased by this is the burst, right? This is the burst additional damage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not the actual damage over time itself. So it gets a 270 at level 1, 300 and 360 damage reduction on levels 1, 2, and 3. This is pretty good. It was doing way too much damage before. I think it was like, it felt like 5 bars. It felt like four or 5 bars. Now this is probably gonna make it like 2 or 3 bars, which is better. And a cooldown increase from 13 to 16. Yeah, okay. So you probably won't be able to immediately do it again on his passive procking. All right. I don't know about this thing. This is not enough, I don't think. But we'll see. Cooldown reduction after targeting enemy hero decreased from 20 to 15 seconds. So instead of it being on a 10-second cooldown, it is on a 15-second cooldown after teleporting to an enemy. And time between skill activation and teleport increased from 0.23 to 0.32. So it's a fraction a bit easier to catch him when he's in IT. Sure. This should have been only 10 seconds. This should have been only a 10-second cooldown reduction. Make it 20 seconds. Instead of like a 20-second cooldown instead of 30. And then you'd get less ITs, but I don't know if only 15 is enough here. Super Vegito got a nerf. Skill 1 got a tiny damage reduction. Alright. About 85 on level 1, 100 on level 2, and 130 on level 3. It still does like about 1 bar, right? So that's fine. Bulma Youth. Oh! Oh, they did what I wanted them to do. Outside combat fuel replenishment rate. Outside of combat decrease. Yes. Oh my god, I knew this. This is gonna help reduce the uptime of Bulma by a lot. Cooldown reduction on skill 3, so now it's 10 seconds base instead of 6. This is much better. Alright. I think its scaling is an even better option, but that's just whatever. Good enough. 10 seconds is a pretty long time. Build up. Wow. Okay. 5 minions, 10 stacks. And it's the same amount of stats, too. Wow, buildup is going to be really difficult to get maxed out. So they reduce the amount of stacks and increase the amount of stacks required, minions required to get what you need. Oh, wait. There's something that's not included here. I just checked with my inside source again. Let me just see. Yeah, okay, didn't change. Okay. The stat itself has changed. There are more stats you can get. It went from 15 to 22. 15 to 22. So it used to be, let me see. So 15 times, I just opened VS Code on accident. 15 times 15 stats, that was 225 defense. Now it is 22 times 10. And that is only 5 less stats than before. Only 5. So it's not actually that massive of a stat decrease. It is a increase in difficulty to get a similar amount of stats. Okay. Now you need 50 minions. Cooldown increase of defense step 4 to 12 seconds. With how easy it is to proc, this is going to be huge. Because now you've really got to conserve that vanishing step if you really want to use defense step as your card of choice. This is huge. It means that some characters that originally had more mobility while also still having some bulk in the form of defense step is going to lose out on this. This is, for example, like God Goku. You might have to burn a vanishing step to dodge an enemy attack or keep distance. But that means you're then vulnerable to big amounts of burst damage onto yourself without that vanishing step. Without the defense step helping you protect yourself from a ranged ulti or from getting jumped further. At that point, you're just dead. Certain other characters are getting massive nerfs from this. There's going to be a big change in being able to take ultimate attacks now, which is huge. What this says for the tank role, though, with how prevalent high burst is right now, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. Everyone just has to play more carefully now with their vanishing step. And I think that's a good thing. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually run triple red baby. But I think, well, actually, baby with defense step is probably still better. But yeah, these are the nerfs, and I think this is a huge change. This is going to change the game. Adjustments and improvements. Broly. His skill 2 does less damage. But he now has energy defense up on self with his passive. If you don't remember what his passive does, it's that whoever has his gauge, you get defense up against them. So if you say you hit Super Saiyan 3 with your skill 1, you'll get energy defense up against his attacks. Not just strike defense now. At this point, just say all defense up. Point is, and now he has defenses against both types of attacks. The maximum damage scaling of his rush attacks from his passive has also increased. So now instead of just doing double, it's 1.25. Sorry, it's 2.25 times damage now. So this compensates for the skill 2 damage, I guess, by pushing it into his rush attack. All right. I think this is a good thing to do to Broly. He's become more bulky and less susceptible to ranged attacks as long as he gets his passive. You're supposed to play with his passive to be defensive. That's what it was originally, but there weren't that many strike attackers for this to really be helpful. And now he does have energy defense. And this is good. System adjustments. Snowball. All attack up increase reduced from 40 to 25. So you'll get, instead of 200 on 5 stacks, you'll get only 125 on 5 stacks. But you can stack it up to 8 times. So it's the same amount of stacks. So it's the same amount of stats, but you have to stack it more. So it's even riskier. Especially if you lose all those snowballs. It's going to be a huge jump in power. But at the same time, each increment of snowball is not going to be as huge of a jump in power. They've adjusted the boss spawn timings. It's not mentioned here. Let me see. Boss spawn timings. They've made second boss 15 seconds faster, so now it spawns at 5 minutes instead of 5:15. Third boss is 30 seconds closer, so it spawns at 6:30 instead of 7. And fourth boss spawns at instead of 9:30, I think that is. Instead of 8:30, it is at 8. So they've made the boss timings a little tighter for the second, third, and fourth boss. But third boss is unchanged. They've also adjusted the NPC spawn conditions, but of course we can't see that. Uh, Burst can't activate without ally Zeno in enemy area. Okay, so you can't like chip a tower by dashing into the tower and tapping it anymore. Route indicators now show first enemy NPC in lane. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. This There are more changes that aren't listed here. I'm just gonna go quickly search for them. Okay, so they've also apparently adjusted the damage of Gekishin bursts, including when canceling. So, like when you're getting your Gekishin burst blocked, so you'll do maybe less or even more damage. Who knows? They haven't mentioned. Uh, this apparently they've updated the steel attack effect as well. So I guess it used to be dynamic, but now it's static. So the amount of attack you steal won't change even if the target's attack power changes during the duration. So let's say you stole base Ku's attack while he's not in Kaioken. But apparently, when he Kaiokens, you also steal more attack from him. Sure, I guess this is a nerf to God Vegeta again. But I don't know why it worked like that in the first place. Apparently, it also used to end automatically if the target dies, so you lost your steel attack when the enemy was away. But now it doesn't end. So you still have the stolen attack even after you kill them. So God Vegeta buff. The player list and party features are now combined into a single screen. I don't know if this is better. Player list button has been removed in line with its party screen integration. Okay. They've updated the custom battle spectator view, KO announcements added to the spectator view, I guess. Player info adjusted and KOs, defeats, assists added to the UI. Okay, so you also can see their stat line in game as well as a spectator. Spectators can now see HP values when mystery HP is active. Thank you. That was so annoying when I was casting. Various control improvements. I guess they made it a bit better feeling, which is nice. Role ranks will now only display when rank battles is whatever. Player information screen added for viewing a chosen visual. I don't know what this means. But hey, more updates for the spectator view. Good for me. Good for everyone when it comes to Squadra Blast. Good for everyone when it comes to watching my tournament videos or even our tournament streams. These are all good changes. What do you guys think of these patch notes? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know about these. I don't know about the Dabura and TOPPO buffs. These don't seem that good. Uh, I feel like this is more of a nerf than anything. The Krillin buff might be pretty insane. I don't think these are enough. This does not look like we're. This is pretty good. I like this. This is a good way to make her not feel terrible. Same with this. 10 seconds is a good amount. This is huge, the defense step change. We're going to get less mobility as a whole, which makes these guys stronger. But we do have this guy to make up for it. I don't, I don't know if this is really what we need right now. I think we needed more changes. Like, Frieza is still gonna be dominant. Kid Goku finally has a home. I don't know, guys. We need more changes. We need better heroes, and I don't know how good Beerus is gonna be, but let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? I'll see you guys next time.